The following video will go over how to set up and use the payroll module. We will go over how to set up payroll, as well as how to set up payroll for employees. We will also cover using the time clock and production batch to clock onto paid stations, as well as running the payroll module. Okay, let's go to control. Before you can actually set up the payroll module, you're going to need to make sure that the chart of accounts is also set up. To do so, you would go to Setup, Accounting Setup, Chart of Accounts, and this would be the location where you would want to put in your payroll accounts. We already have some set up in the system. If you go to Liabilities, that's a category for payroll liabilities, as well as if you go to Expenses, there's a category for payroll expenses and payroll and HR benefits. Once you have your account set up in the system, then you want to go to Payroll Setup. To get to it, you would go to Payroll, Payroll Setup. And then basically you would want to go down the list and fill out each of the different options associated with the payroll module, starting off with the Options tab. And here you would enable, if you check off if you're going to enable vacation, sick pay, or holiday pay, as well as you would enter in how many default hours worked per year, as well as you can enable advances, overtime, double time, and shift time in the system. Once you have that set up, you then want to go to your standard employee deductions. In this section, you would want to tie your federal, state, local, FICA, and Medicare tables together. So for the federal, state, and income, you would want to tie the tax tables associated with them together, as well as which box the totals will print in on your W-2 form. You want to set your percentages for your FCIA and the Medicare, and as well as what boxes they will show up on the W-2 form. From there, you would go to your standard employee matches. If your company matches FCIA or Medicare, you can put in the percentage that you're going to match, as well as assign the accrual and expense accounts to those different types. From there, you want to put in your federal unemployment tax percentage, as well as the accrual and expense counts for it. To do so, you would click on either the New button on the Action toolbar, or click the Add button to add in a new type. You would also want to put in any optional deductions, for example 401k, child support, things that maybe your employees would take out of their standard pay. You also have the ability to determine who's going to pay for it, if it's going to be either the employer or the employee. And then you can also set maximum deductions that can come out of that particular pay period. Alright, let's go down to station setup. In this section, you will see all of the stations in the system. Aside from being able to tell when that station is going to be used, if it's going to be used whenever it's an order, estimate, or line item, you can also say that this particular station can be clocked into. You would then assign the workers' comp code as well as the default expense account to that particular station, and then tell if this station is a paid or unpaid station. So I'm going to assign some a workers' comp code as well as a expense account. And then I can tell again if it's a paid, unpaid, vacation, sick, or holiday status. And once I have that set, I would click on my save button, and then Control will save those accounts as well as the status for that station. Once you've gone through and set up your stations, you're going to then want to go to your tax tables, and this will be the place where you're going to put in your federal and state tax tables. Once you're done setting up payroll, the next thing you would want to do is go to or set up your employees to use the payroll module. To do so, you would go to Setup, Employee Setup, select a employee, go ahead and click on Edit on the Action toolbar. And right now we're already including this employee in the payroll module. Once you check the option, you're going to get a Payroll Information tab, so we're going to click on it. And then you would set up your rate information for the employee as well as their hourly rate, overtime, double time, and any shift time difference. You're going to as well assume how many hours that employee is going to work, and then assign the default wage expense account or default workers comp code to that particular employee. Then from there you would want to enter in that employee's withholdings as well as their deductions and benefits. Once you have that information saved, you're going to want to or once you have that information entered in, you're going to want to save that employee record. And once the record is saved, we can actually use the time clock or the production batch to enter in actual labor times for each of your employees. Let's use the production batch in this case. And what we want to do is load a order. And we're going to actually select a labor part. And now we want to select a paid station in the system. So in this case, let's say this employee was working on finishing. Let's select our employee. And let's say that he worked 6 hours there. And let's go ahead and post that labor time. Now, as well as you can use the time clock utility to clock on to that same labor part, and Control will accrue that time, and then whenever the order is marked built or whenever you process the payroll, it's going to pull that time into the entry. so that particular employee can be paid for that that paid time or that paid status. When it's time to actually process the payroll, you would go to Payroll on the main toolbar, click on Process Payroll. Control gives you the ability to pull all employees who are under the weekly pay rate or pay frequency, as well as bi-weekly, monthly, and then group all those employees together. Or like we're about to do now is we can actually select a particular employee. So I know I actually clocked onto Dean Sharp's account and posted a 6-hour time for finishing. So I can go to his particular record, gives me what pay period that I want to pull. And let's say we're going to just look for those 2 days. Let's hit OK, and then it's going to pull up everything for the 11th through the 13th for that particular account. And of course, the only thing we see here is that there's a total of 6 hours that was posted to his, or 6 hours that he particularly worked on. Control will show you the hours from time card. So anytime that he clocked onto a job and that accrued time, it will show here, as well as any posted time. So we posted or we put in a part usage card for 6 hours for the finishing time. That will show in this particular column. It's going to show us a total of hours. We do have the ability to adjust the time, as well as it's going to show us the actual total. So let's go ahead and hit OK. The message that came up is asking you if you want Control to retrieve all of the hours pulled from the usage cards. In this case, and in all cases, you probably would want to select yes. So now it would show a list of all of our employees, as well as the straight time, overtime, double time, shift time difference that they have worked, any adjustments if there were any. Now if we scroll over to the right, we can see the straight wages, overtime, double time, and shift time difference wages for that employee, as well as we can see any deductions and federal income and local tax income as well taken out for that particular employee. And then over on the far right hand side, we'll see the actual net payment for that particular pay period for that employee. We would then want to select where that particular payment will come out of, and then from there we want to click on the Post button. And then after clicking Post, it's going to show you all of the checks that need to be printed, as well as give you the ability to put in the first check number, and then from there we can hit OK. It's going to prompt up a screen for us to actually print out the check. Once we click on Print, that check will print, and we will get a message asking us, did everything print out okay? If not, click yes. If so, click yes. If not, click no. Alright, so let's go ahead and click yes to the message, and then we get a completion that the payroll has completed successfully. This will conclude the video.